What is up, Gundam Meisters and Innovators? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we're returning to AD 2308 as we continue our coverage of Gundam 00. Last time, we met the Trinity team and their new Throne Gundams. The Ptolemaeus team kept an eye on them as they began attacking civilians. The Gundam himself wasn't having any of it. This time, we will learn who the Trinity team is truly working for. Alejandro betrays Celestial Being, and the UN creates their own Gundam. So let's get into this. Exia goes in to attack Nina, but Mikhail blocks it. They wonder why Exia is attacking as they are on the same side. He says wrong. They are not working towards the same objective, and those things they are piloting aren't Gundams. He should know. He is one. He continues attacking Mikhail, but Johan begins attacking at long range. Mikhail uses his GN fangs. Exia is able to take most of them out, but a few attack him from behind. A bazooka blast takes out the remaining fangs. It is Gundam Virtue. In space, the Ptolemaeus crew is monitoring the situation and not sure what to make of it. Some think they are interfering, but Sumeragi believes they are given such vague instructions that this could all be a part of Veda's plan. Lock-On sends a coded message to the ship. Sumeragi tells him to try to stop fighting if he can, but she will respect his tactical decisions to whatever outcome he decides. Alleluia decides to stay and protect Ptolemaeus. Lock-On launches from his location on Earth. He kind of understands where Setsuna is coming from. Alejandro notes to Ribbons that things are moving faster than he expected, and they are moving into Phase 3. Tieria and Setsuna work together. Gundam Virtue creates a giant GN field. Setsuna hides behind Gundam Virtue and does a sneak attack while Tieria fires its bazooka from afar. Christina tells Sumeragi that Exia and Virtue are using tactical formations. She is amazed that Setsuna and Tieria are working together. Tieria gets in close and activates the trial system, unleashing Natalie. He activates the trial field. This is an invisible field that instantly shuts off any system connected to Veda. He says that they are not worthy of being called Gundam Meisters and goes in to attack the helpless Throne Gundams. But suddenly, the trial system disengages and the Thrones can move again. Tieria notes that someone forcibly deactivated the trial system. He then recalls when he was connected to Veda and wasn't able to access some files. He is now certain Veda is changing something. The Thrones go in for an attack, but Lock-On and Dynamis begin sniping. The Trinity team needs to retreat, but before they do, Johan reveals that he knows Lock-On's real name is Neil Delandi. Tieria realizes Johan has level 7 access to Veda. He reveals to Lock-On that the people who killed his parents were the child soldiers Setsuna was a part of. He realizes Setsuna is responsible for his parents' death. The Trinity team drops that knowledge bomb, and then they bail. All of the nations, including the Union president and his good buddy Bush, are informed that the Gundams are divided in their ranks. Saji brings Luis flowers when she tells him to go back to Japan. She says that his dreams is to one day go into space, and she believes that she will just hold him back. She makes him promise to make his dreams come true before he departs. Kinoe meets with one of her contacts who gives her information on a man called Laguna Harvey. He seems to be a very powerful man who helped create the linear elevator. Her editor suggests that she not mess with someone this powerful, but she is willing to take the chance. Setsuna tries to explain to Lock-On, but he already knows. Lock-On goes on a rant about how the people of the Middle East suffered the most in the name of solar power, and many of their people went into the hands of their gods. In reality, they fled into the hands of the rich people, using the poor and the hopeless to enact war crimes in the name of their god. This led to the Solar Wars and the rise of child guerrilla groups like KPSA. Lock-On wants to kill Setsuna, but he doesn't. Setsuna tells him that there is no god, and it is all thanks to Ali al-Sechez. He tells them that he was the leader of KPSA and is now helping PMC. Setsuna says that he will continue fighting to eradicate war and that he is a Gundam. In Antarctica, some people find underground what looks like GN drives. Saji flashes back to when he was talking to a nurse about Luis's hand. The beam weapons have affected the cells around the area, and they won't be able to regenerate her hand. We will learn this is the deteriorating effect of the red GN tau particles. Also, I totally missed this on the first watch 14 years ago, but they could regrow limbs? That's pretty cool. Let's see more of that at the UN in New York. The Union, the HRL, and the AEU form a military alliance in an attempt to stop Celestial Being terrorists. We go live to what Bush has to say on the subject.
We must stop the terror. Now watch this drive.
Marina wonders if this was Celestial Being's plan from the beginning. Setsuna, Tieria, and Lock-On are on an island. They note that many of the armies have been greatly damaged over the last month by the hands of Trinity, so they wonder what this joint venture will do in their current situation. All of this doesn't sit right with Tieria after getting locked out of Veda. They all get an encrypted message to return to the Ptolemeus. Sumeragi tells Ian to go pick up the GN arms. Graham asks Billy about the GN beam saber, but they are far past that now. It seems Celestial Being leaked information and they were able to obtain GN drives. The UN is providing 30 machines for them to test the drives on, 10 for each nation. Billy says this is why the world is able to make such a statement pointing to the news about the Alliance. He says the Overflags will be leading these new machines, but Graham outright refuses and he says he will defeat the Gundam with his flag. At HRL, they are also given an opportunity to use these new GN drive mobile suits. Sergei is given command of these new units for HRL, but he also appears hesitant. Soma, however, isn't and instantly volunteers herself to be a pilot. At the AEU, certainly they must be focusing on the mission at hand. Nope. Patrick Colasar asks his commanding officer out on a date. The AEU is all about outsourcing their problems to immigrants. Meanwhile, the immigrant Ali is trying to get his hands on one of the new machines. I was trying to make a joke, don't make it a reality. He talks to Laguna Harvey to see if he could use his influence to get him a new mobile suit. He doesn't care if it's working for the Union or the AEU. He wants to pay back Exia for their previous encounter. As he leaves, Kinoue is spying and notes that he must be the person Laguna was meeting with. He stops Ali's car and asks him a question, but he is in a rush, so she has to get in. Is it worth the story to get in the car with a stranger? Kinoue says yes. She asks if he met with Laguna, and Ali, pretending to be an AEU rep, says he's trying to procure goods. He just outright tells her he is trying to get his hands on a GN drive and explains they are powering the Gundams. He even tells her that he creates child soldiers and is a warmonger. Nice, I tell women that all the time. It is all about taking away as much comfort as possible. That's what I always say. After their conversation, he calls Laguna and says that he took care of the problem. Saji makes it back to Japan. He is a sad boy. Aw, cheer up, at least you still have your sister. Kinoue looks at a picture of Saji and her father before bleeding out and dying. Meanwhile, Ribbons and Alejandro head to space. Remember, Alejandro is an observer, but he is also a UN ambassador. He is the one who sold out Celestial Being. Wang and Hong Long meet with the Trinity team. She simply wanted to say hello and to inform them that they are here at their disposal. They wonder why Celestial Being attacked them. She says that she is merely an observer and not necessarily on either side. As they leave, Hong Long wonders if this is the right hand to play. She says that the world must change or she is going to allow it to fall to pieces. The Gundam Meisters make it back to the Ptolemeus when they see the Trinity team move out for the next mission. Their target is an HRL base in China. They begin destroying the base. The Tiedans can't keep up, but that is when they are attacked. They think it is Exia again, but it is HRL in the new Jinx. The GNX-603T, GNX pronounced Jinx, is a product of Alejandro betraying Celestial Being by giving GN Tau drives to the UN. 30 of these machines are produced and distributed to 3 nations. Unlike the Gundam, which serves a unique role, the Jinx is versatile and able to adapt to general use. Unlike the Ptolemeus GN drives, these have limited GN particle generators and can't function as long as the original 3rd gen Gundams. Suck it, Mono Eye. This Gundam has 4 eyes. The United Nations told the world that they produced these new GN particles and would leave Alejandro's involvement out of it. It is equipped with a GN beam rifle, a GN beam saber, a GN shield, GN Vulcans, and the GN claw. This was originally a simple melee weapon, but with GN particles and an enhanced GN field, it makes this mobile suit a melee beast. Sergei, Soma, and his team are piloting the Jinx. They go in and attack and are able to keep up with the Thrones. Trinity retreats for now as they have done enough damage. The Ptolemeus team watch the action all go down. They realize that this changes everything. Gundams are now fighting Gundams. Everyone is technologically on par with one another. Alejandro and Ribbons makes it to a base on the moon. They enter a room to see a giant supercomputer. Alejandro realizes that this is Veda. Meanwhile, I wonder how Saji's doing. Someone slap him and put him into a mobile suit. He's a perfect candidate. Ribbons begins making changes to Veda. He tells Alejandro that it will take some time. Felt accesses Veda's files without being noticed and brings up visual data on the fight between Jinx and the Thrones. They confirm that these new Gundams are using GN Tau drives. The Trinity team hasn't received any new missions in some time. Ribbons accesses level 6 of Veda. Alejandro notes that Laguna distributed the new Gundams and serves no purpose anymore. Patrick Colasar meets with Daryl, who informs him that Graham will not be taking part in this operation. Daryl abandoned Graham, so he believes that he must provide results with this new Gundam or else he will feel great shame for his abandonment of the overflags. Felt and Chris are working overtime doing logistics. Sumeragi brings them alcohol. Tieria doesn't like being cut off from Veda, but Lock-On tells him to trust in Sumeragi's tactics. He mentions that she made a very big mistake in her past, and she is constantly trying to atone for that mistake now by drowning in alcohol. Tieria goes, "Wait, does that mean you know about my past?" Lock-On simply says that now is the time for the four of them to work together. They all go wait on standby in their pods. While waiting, Setsuna dreams he is back in Krugus and Marina is there. The HRL Jinx team approaches the Trinity team's location, but Johan connects to the other thrones and uses his high mega launcher to take out one of the Gundams. It appears that their orders weren't coming from Veda, but rather from Laguna, who seemed to have betrayed them. Of course, Laguna was taking orders from Alejandro, and he has already been taken out. The thrones head out for an attack. Sumeragi spots mobile suits approaching their location. She expected this and is glad everyone is on standby. The Gundam Meisters launch. Saji meets with Kinoe's editor, who tells him that she was doing in-depth research on Aeolia Schoenberg. The Gundams begin their attack. Gundam Virtue uses his GN field, but their attacks can penetrate the shield. They are evenly matched. Daryl and Patrick try to take out Exia. Suddenly, the Gundam Meisters lose their connection to Veda. They are dead in the water. Alejandro says that he is greedy and wants both Celestial Being and the UN to exist. However, Celestial Being can be reborn. Sumeragi expected Veda to cut them off, which is why she scraped as much data as possible onto their systems. They connect the Gundams directly to the Ptolemaeus systems. All backups come online, and the Gundams are able to move once again, all but Tieria. Setsuna goes into a rage. Lock-On tries to protect Gundam Virtue. Patrick goes in to strike Tieria, but Lock-On protects him, with his Gundam taking the brunt of the attack. Aw, he did a la-la for Tieria. An attack comes from afar. It happens to be last in the Gundam Arms. The GNR 001E and 001D GN Arms. Both Type E and Type D is a support vehicle that was built off the data of the GN Zephyr and the Avalanche Exia, which is from a side story. This support unit has the GN condenser. This holds excess GN particles and is essentially a GN fuel tank. This allows the unit to function independently from a Gundam, but it does not have its own GN drive. We will see this unit connect to Dynames and Exia to give the unit extra armor and give the Gundam access to the Trans-Am system. The Type E can be controlled from Exia. It is equipped with a pair of claws, a large-sized GN cannon, a large GN sword, and a GN beam sword. The Jinx team retreats as the Meisters go to help Lock-On. Alejandro is impressed by Sumeragi's skills. Ribbons makes it to level 7 access of Veda. Meanwhile, all nations are impressed with the Jinx and begin mass production. The age of the Gundam is now over. And that will do it for this episode. Whatever Aeolia's true intentions were, it is clear that he knew that humans will be humans and use their beliefs and ideals to push their own agenda. As Alejandro turns on Celestial Being, you have to start wondering what exactly is their true intentions. Next time, we will conclude Season 1 of Mobile Suit Gundam 00. We will be introduced to the Trans-Am system, and the world will finally become united. But that will do it for now, Gundam Meisters. Remember, if you are a part of a super organization that spent centuries trying to bring peace, odds are your betrayal was most likely a part of the plan all along. Peace.